Competitors ready? 3, 2, 1, go!
So you want to beat the ballroom and complete the extreme division for the Athlean X live challenge. Well, when this course was first introduced in 2023, I think it was, nobody made it out. And in 2024, we had 4 people make it out. And last year in 2025, we had 1 person in the extreme division beat the ballroom. Congratulations, Carlos. But next year, I want to see more people make it out, and I want to see more people improve. So that's what this video is going to do. As a side note, I had scripted everything and recorded everything, and I didn't like it. So we're redoing this one, more off the cuff this time. So what is the extreme division beat the ballroom, ballroom blitz, whatever you want to call it? Well, it starts with 25 pull-ups. Chin has to go over the bar, no kipping, followed by 50 cone hops. You have to jump over a 14-inch high PVC pipe, and then you have to carry a 100-pound kettlebell down and back for a total of 40 yards. Once you finish that, then you do the murder complex, which is a total of 30 squats and 10 burpees, which doesn't sound so bad on paper, but you have to do goblet squats with 70 pounds in the kettlebell, and by that point, and then after that, you have to run down 20 yards and do 75 hand release push-ups, which on its own, not necessarily too challenging, but as I've seen in the last couple of years, it has proven to be quite challenging. So 75 hand release push-ups, and then if you get all that done, you have to do 100 jump ropes, single unders, 2-foot hops. Then if you make it, if you finish that with enough time, you run back 20 yards, tap the checkpoint, and then run out of the ballroom. And you only have 8 minutes to do all that, so it becomes very, very challenging. And as I've said before, we've only seen about a total of 4 people overall make it out ever, and Carlos has won it twice, and he's been the only one to make it out 2 years in a row now. So as I said before, you only have 8 minutes to do 25 pull-ups, 50 cone hops, a suitcase carry down and back for a total of 40 yards, the murder complex, which consists of a total of 30 goblet squats, and then 10 burpees broken up into 10, 5, 10, 5, 10. Then you run down or walk down, whatever energy you have left for. Get down 20 yards, 75 hand release push-ups, so chest has to go to the ground, hands have to come off the floor in order for the rep to count, and then all the way back up. 100 jump ropes, run back down, tap the center checkpoint, and run out in 8 minutes. Yeah, so that's the challenge. So let me break it down how to make it, because as I said before, there's only been 4 people. I'm one of those 4 people to make it out, and that was in 2024. I didn't compete last year because I got a little bit bigger. I wasn't quite peaked for it, didn't train for it. But we'll see. Maybe next year. We'll see. So, starting with the pull-ups. All 25 pull-ups need to be completed in under a minute. They don't have to be in all one set. You can break them up into 15 and 10 or 12, 8, and 5. You know, it doesn't have to be all in one set, but the 4 people who have made it out, get it done in a minute or less. If you cannot make 25 pull-ups in a minute or less, you're behind the 8 ball. You have some ground to make up. I do want to make a note here that typically the pull-up bar that they bring in is very wobbly, and the efficiency of your reps tends to drop, so you can't just bang out 25 pull-ups like you maybe would in training off of a power rack or something like that, like a 4-post power rack, really solid, really stable, or a pull-up bar that's anchored to the wall. These ones are freestanding 2-post generally pull-up bars, and they wobble a lot, so your efficiency will tend to go down, and that makes it a lot harder to get all 25 if you can do 25 in training. So just keep that in mind as you're going through your preps, your preparation for this event. The people who are best at doing these pull-ups, they don't waste reps, meaning if your chin can't make it over the bar, they don't, the coaches and the judges don't count that as a rep. You have to get your chin above the bar. If the chin does not clear the bar, you get no reps and you waste energy. And like I said, the best people that I've seen do this, they don't waste those reps. They make them count. So as soon as their rep speed begins to slow down or they start to get fatigued, they drop down, shake it out, give it a couple seconds of rest before jumping back up and doing some more. You don't want to waste a rep or a near rep, and now all of a sudden it takes longer to recover. So best thing to do is don't waste your reps, know that you're getting fatigued, and drop down and shake it out. So after the pull-ups, we got cone hops. You have to do 50 of them, so each jump counts as one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., etc. And pretty basic. You do have to stay within this box to make sure that you're clearing this PVC. If your feet start to land outside of the box, you'll get no reps, and then you just wasted 1 or 2 or 3, because it generally takes you a little bit to recover or respond to the coach's cues. But you jump laterally side to side over a 14-inch PVC cone. It's about 1 inch in diameter. You jump over that 50 times. Pretty straightforward. A lot of people make it through clean and with no issues. A couple of pro tips here. The best performers will minimize the distance traveled in the air and in between landings. So for example, you don't have to go big bounds left and right. You can, if that's what it takes to clear it, but realistically you want to try and keep it as minimal lateral movement as you can, to prevent wasting any energy. I look back at my footage from 2023 and I was all over the place. I was jumping way too far, and then I took that information, cleaned it up in my training and my practice, and kept my arms nice and tight to my body, and got my knees bending a lot more than I did in 2023. So keeping my arms nice and tight, got the legs over the bar more efficiently, and I didn't need to jump as far. I just went basically up, straight down with my head, and my hips and legs moved over the bar pretty easily. So also in 2023, I noticed I was holding my breath a little bit when I was doing these jumps, and that kind of kills your energy. So what I did in 2024 and in training leading up to that was I practiced breathing on my jumps, making sure that I'm getting air in, so that way I don't fatigue too quickly. That sets you up very poorly down the road if you start holding your breath during any of these exercises. Here I got an image of my setup that I used in practice. It's just a 12-inch box that I took and then stacked a couple of plates on there to get to 14 inches high, and then held a 1-inch PVC pipe in place with a band. If you have a home gym, you can build one of these out of PVC pipe at Home Depot or your hardware store or whatever that you like to go to, I guess. Yeah, but pretty easy to build, nothing really fancy. After the cone hops comes the suitcase carry. It's probably the most straightforward thing in this challenge. Okay, basically you pick up a heavy kettlebell, walk down 20 yards, turn around, switch hands, and come back. It's pretty straightforward, right? The challenge is it's that the kettlebell is 100 pounds, so for a lot of people that's over 50% of their body weight carrying in one hand, and that gets pretty tiring. So even for a guy like me, I weigh about 215, 220 right now, and it's less than 50% of my body weight, but it's still a challenge. I just did them in training yesterday, and I struggle a little bit. So it's straightforward. I mean, carry it, try and keep tight. Again, try not to hold your breath. I recognize that you have to brace and keep things kind of tight, but if you lock in your core and you practice breathing in training, you can actually keep your core tight and walk 20 yards, keeping your air moving, keeping a good brace, and you'll be able to make it, albeit it may not be pretty, but you'll make it. Okay, so here's something that I saw, either rookies or even some veterans of this challenge. When you do the turnaround, okay, so you go down 20 yards, you have to turn around and come back 20 yards. When you do that turnaround, I see people when they turn around, the kettlebell is on the outside hand. So if you're turning to the left and you have the kettlebell in your right hand, that kettlebell has to travel more distance than if you were to turn towards the kettlebell. Does that make sense? So if you're carrying in your right side, you should turn towards your right side, because then you can switch your hands in midair and hand it off, and then now the kettlebell is in your left hand and you carry it back. You're already back on your way. Whereas what I saw people doing was, if they were carrying it in their right hand, they would spin around to the left, and that kettlebell has to travel in a wider arc, and then you have to transition to your left hand. So the fastest people with this part, myself included, I would turn towards the kettlebell and switch hands, and I'd be on my way. Whereas I saw people either set down the kettlebell, which is fine, I mean it's a lot of weight, set down the kettlebell, turn around, pick it back up again. Waste a little bit of energy, but for some people that's what they need to do, because either grip is starting to struggle or whatever. You don't want to drop that thing, it's a lot of weight. But yeah, the fastest way to do that is to turn towards the kettlebell, switch hands, and then you're on your way. So once you get back to the start point of the suitcase carry, 20 yards down, 20 yards back, you have to do the murder complex. So the murder complex, like I said before, is 30 goblet squats and 10 burpees, broken up into 10 goblet squats, 5 burpees, 10 goblet squats, 5 burpees, 10 goblet squats. It's with a 70-pound kettlebell. All this, I would like to also make a side note, all this is assuming that Jeff doesn't change the course, which he's been known to do. So sorry if this video becomes irrelevant, but anyways, I'm going to do it. So yeah, squats are performed with a 70-pound kettlebell, and burpees are just done body weight. So nothing crazy. But I see a lot of people get hung up on the murder complex. This exercise, or this movement series, is very physically demanding. You have to be strong, and you have to be very fit, because squatting with 70 pounds, generally not that hard. But consider the stage that you're in after doing 25 pull-ups, 50 cone hops, and a 100-pound suitcase carry for 40 yards. You have to pick up the 70-pound kettlebell from the floor. So you swing it up, you hold it, and you do 10 reps, and you set it back down, do 5 burpees. Arms have to go above your head on each rep, otherwise you get no rep. Goblet squats, I think they want to see elbows on the elbows to touch the knees. There wasn't anything really on depth, but I'm pretty sure that's one of the things they're looking for, is elbows touching the legs or the quads or the knees or whatever, and then all the way back up. No half squatting, none of that. Chest has to touch the ground, and hands have to go above the head on the burpees. A couple of things as far as tactics go. When you pick the kettlebell up for the squats, you pretty much have to swing it or clean it up to the holding position, right? The resting position. If you're familiar with the shape of a kettlebell, you have the handle, right? You have the horn, or the handle comes up and around, but then the sides of the handle are called the horns. Those would be a place to hold the kettlebell. It is a place to hold them. In my opinion, this is just my opinion, that's not the best place to hold it, because if you hold by the horn, right, with the handle upright, the weight of the kettlebell acts as a pendulum and can create some level of instability. And it's fine. I think there's a better way, and that would be when you pick up the kettlebell, you swing it up and you invert it. Top Gun reference. Pick it up, you invert it, and you flip it over, and now it's resting in your hands. Actually, you know what? I'll be right back. Told you we're doing this candid style. Okay. This is more my flavor. So, you swing the kettlebell up, and you hold it like this. Hopefully you can hear me just fine. It's going to be a little echoey. But you hold it like this, and now the weight is much more stable. It doesn't oscillate. Whereas if you hold it like this, like a lot of people, it can swing, right? And now you have to work a little bit harder to stabilize that weight. So pick it up, get situated, and you can go down for your reps. It's a little, take some practice, I would say. Get some practice in the gym, working with a heavy kettlebell. Or even a light one, really. You need to practice with it. So, yeah, that was 35 pounds, and I'm already out of breath because I ran and I'm fat and out of shape or something. Anyways, yeah. So, I think that's the better way. I think that's the better way to perform and execute the squats because, like I said, the kettlebell isn't oscillating. It's not creating an instability factor. And yeah, that just saves you a little bit of energy. A little bit. And you have more energy for down the road, even though you might feel like you're dying. The best performers for the murder complex have a good technical capacity with kettlebells, and they can basically flip the kettlebell up and catch it and drop down for the first squat in one smooth motion. There's no hitch, there's no weird awkward fumbling around with it to try and get it into place. They're just so proficient with a kettlebell, they can flip it up and catch it and drop down for their first rep. Another note here that I have is the stronger your max squat is, the lighter that this kettlebell is relative to your max squat, if that makes sense. So if your max squat is 425 pounds, a 70-pound kettlebell is about 17% of your max. Whereas if your max squat is 225 pounds, a 70-pound kettlebell is 31% of your max, which is almost double of your relative max. Now, 17% and 31% don't sound like a lot when it comes to training numbers, but this is a competition and you have to keep in mind you're doing a total of 30 and you're fatigued and they're broken up with burpees in between. So the stronger your squat is, the easier these kettlebell squats become. Get strong in the squat, bottom line. Yeah. If you want to practice overloading a goblet squat, you can do Zercher squats, because you can, take a barbell and load it up to 135 pounds, 185, 200 pounds, whatever your arms can tolerate, because Zercher squats are kind of painful. So, but it's one way to overload it. My other pro tip, when you transition to burpees, if you can set the kettlebell down in a fashion that makes it easier to pick it and whip it up again and get into position for your squats, that'll be better. And then when you drop to the floor for your burpees, drop to the floor. Don't gently set yourself down. I mean, kick your feet back, catch yourself with your hands if you can tolerate it. The landing, we don't need faces getting reworked here. We don't need the face or the floor to be a plastic surgeon. But yeah, get down to the floor as fast as possible. It saves you a little bit of energy. Okay, now for the hardest part of the entire extreme challenge, or the extreme division of Beat the Ballroom. This is what I've seen just ends everybody's hopes and dreams. Nobody hardly ever makes it past this point. The push-ups, hand release push-ups. First of all, you finished the murder complex, which consists of 10 burpees, so you've already done like 10. The push-ups I've seen consume nearly half of the allotted time of 8 minutes for a lot of people. You have to run down 20 yards to do them, because why not? You know, you have to run down or walk down, whatever you have energy for. Usually it's walking. Walk down 20 yards, take a quick breath, quick breathers, and drop down and give me 75. Your chest has to lower all the way to the ground. Your hands have to come off the ground. Basically, flash your hands, right? So you press up, come down, hands up, back down to the ground, and push up. That would be 1 rep. You have to do 75 of those, and that's a lot. In competition, there's a running clock. There's a timer, and it counts down from 8 minutes. If you do not hit your first rep with 4 minutes and 30 seconds remaining on that timer, your chances of making it out go from slim to fat. It means the same thing. Your chances of getting out of the ballroom drop significantly. Like, unless like you're a freak and you can do like 150 unbroken push-ups in training, hand release style, like, you're not gonna do 75 in 30 minutes or whatever amount of time it takes, because you're so darn fatigued at this point that everything is just like wanting to shut down. So this is where men are made, big time, for sure. The 75 hand release push-ups kills a lot of people in the challenge. So in training, here's my advice. Your goal in training should be to complete 75 hand release push-ups in 3 minutes and 30 seconds or less. And you don't want to be testing that within probably 4 weeks of the competition. You either need to know or you don't know. About 5 weeks out, if you can do that. Yeah, 75 hand release push-ups, that's a frick ton. You need to have strong triceps. This is my pro tip, by the way. You need to have strong triceps. So I'll give you a few exercises that you can throw into your training if you want. You don't have to. You can follow whatever program your heart desires. But these are some of the exercises that I've found personally have made my triceps just blow up over the last couple of years. So here we go. JM press, close grip bench press, floor press, bench press with bands and or chains, lightened method bench. I just did that today, as a matter of fact. Rolling dumbbell tricep extensions, tricep dips, push downs, and skull crushers. So the last ones probably sound familiar. Anyways, those are all great exercises to build the triceps. Okay, so assuming you make it past the 75 hand release push-ups, you have to do 100 jump ropes. Not usually too challenging, but consider that you're generally pretty fatigued. You're pretty much at your anaerobic max. Not many people make it to the jump ropes, I will say that. Not too many have made it to the jump ropes. We've seen more this past year, but not too many make it. So you have to do 100 single unders. Generally, if you have a minute left on the clock and you don't screw up too many times, you can make it out. You can do that in training if you're fresh, pretty easy. But you're gasping for air and you have a running clock and people are yelling at you, they're screaming, and you gotta be kind of in tune to what you're doing, what you're trying to do.
Come on, Levi, push! Don't slow down! Let's go! Who's gonna carry those boats? Move out the way! Move out the way! Who's gonna carry those boats? Come on, Levi! Out the way! That's it, boy. Let's go!
But anyways, 100 clean jumps. If you get it 100 in a row, 100 consecutive jumps in a row, props to you. That's freaking hard when you're fatigued like that. Props to you, major props. For me, the best rhythm is going to be 150 BPM or 150 jumps per minute. Find a rhythm that works for you. I have learned a few things though. I've learned that the best rope skippers are boxers. So if you're a boxer and you make it this far in the extreme division, you can probably do 100 jump ropes, no problem. I observed this interesting way to build momentum in the rope before you start skipping. Whereas, like, normally for me, I start with the rope behind my heels and I swing it over. But sometimes the speed and the momentum of the jump rope isn't enough. So I saw this year, or this past event, that these are from boxers, that they were doing a figure eight to build momentum real quick and efficiently, and it I don't know, it just seemed to flow better. So if you can get 100 jumps flawless, you sit in good shape, because you'd be in really good shape. So if you complete all 100 jump ropes and the clock is still running, time to bolt out of the ballroom. You gotta sprint down and tap the checkpoint and get out of there, because well, I did make it out in 2024 as well as Brian. Shout out to Brian Lee, my brother from another mother. We made it out. 0 seconds left. It was a bit of a nail biter. We didn't know it. We just knew that we were running out of time, and I got a clip of it. I'm sure being put up right now. Smart me and post. Just because you can get it through 100 jump ropes in the allotted time, you still have to make it out of the ballroom before time is called. So that's the big kicker. You can't just finish 100 jump ropes within 8 minutes or right on 8 minutes, because then you have to get out, which takes about 8 seconds if you're quick and you don't stumble and you don't miss the checkpoint, which I have seen people do. Okay, in other divisions, they get finished with a jump rope, they're trying to beat the buzzer, trying to get out, and they completely miss the checkpoint. But you have to tap the checkpoint, because it kind of, basically, if you've never seen it, right? If you've never been to AX Live and you've never seen the competition, it's two people running side by side, but the exit is on one side of the ballroom. And so in order to keep the playing field fair, because if you're in the lane that's closest to the exit, you have a slight advantage of getting out. Well, what they introduced in 2024 was that there's a checkpoint that both sides have to tap, and the checkpoint is in the middle of the two, and hopefully you see that in the videos or whatever, in the clips that I throw in here. But basically, yeah, you have to tap the checkpoint before you escape the ballroom, and that can, if you miss it, that can cost you. So yeah, thanks for watching. But there's still one more kicker outside of Jeff not changing anything, and that would be the venue. Next year is going to be the 10th annual of AX Live, or Athlean X Live, and I know there have been discussions of changing the venue, which would be cool, but that also means that the course could completely change. And this video becomes totally, nearly irrelevant, which, if that happens, so be it. I don't care. I just want to see you guys again. I want to see you compete. And who knows? Maybe I'll be right there with you. So, catch you guys next time. See ya.